At the Asher Longevity Institute, we are committed to describing the 9 steps needed to achieve an unlimited life. In Step 4, John Asher lists the body's standard biomarkers and how to keep them in an optimum range. He also describes period testing to monitor our organ functions. Let's drop into the presentation now.
So that is, keep the standard biomarkers in the optimum range. And to do that, of course, you got to do periodic testing. And if you're out of the optimum range, take action to get back into the optimum range. So when you take a standard blood test, these are the typical things that get measured. And the optimum range for them. And one that really talks to what I've mentioned already is that last one, C-reactive protein. That's a measurement of our amount of chronic inflammation going on in our body. And then also other blood tests that measure for men and women these hormones, testosterone, free and total, estradiol, etc. Also, there's some things we can do for ourselves on a daily basis if we want. I do. Take our blood pressure, take our heart rate. So if you have a portable blood pressure machine, it usually gives you both of those, the blood pressure and heart rate. Or if you have a Fitbit, it'll give you the heart rate continuously. Let's see, what's mine? Mine right now is 54, example. And get a body mass scale, you can see a lot of other measurements, including these 3 I've shown you on the bottom. And the body mass scale, it's getting these calculations by impedance of your body. And they're widely available. This is the one I use. It's the body mass scale I bought on Amazon for $26, free shipping, yay. And it has an app that goes along with it. And every day you can see all these measurements for your own body. And those are actually my measurements. This is probably 6 months ago. One interesting one is one close to the bottom, how much protein. And my kids are always pestering me, Dad, you're not eating enough protein. You need more meat. And so I am getting a lot of protein from my diet, which is, as you all know already, a lot of vegetables, walnuts, olive oil, other mushrooms, nuts, and also a moderate amount of fish and meat. So you can see here, protein is great. It's actually all my measurements are in the great scale on this body mass scale. So you can see it every day, and you can also click on the app and blow each one of these up to see where you should be, and a write-up about what it actually means. Here are the typical tests that should be done by all of us, especially if you're over 50. Daily, I've mentioned. Annually, most people, when they're getting an annual physical every year, will get an annual blood test. I actually get one every quarter because I want to know what's going on. And then annually, if you get a cancer of any organ in your whole abdomen, you really can't tell you've got that cancer until you spit up blood or there's blood in your urine. And so that's obviously going to be pretty late. You're at stage 3 or 4 typically. So if you have that ultrasound of your abdomen, I've had 40 of them actually, the last 20 years, twice a year, then you can see what's going on. And if there's anything suspicious, then you can have an MRI of your abdomen, much higher resolution, and then go from there. Of all those 40 tests, I've never had a false positive. And then annually, you can get a microbiome analysis. You can easily see how much good and bad bacteria you have in your microbiome. 3 years ago, when I did the first one, I want to say mine was 50-50 good and bad bacteria. And these analyses will show you whether they're growing fast, whether they're growing slowly, whether they're no growth. And now I'm way, way balanced towards the good bacteria. I only have one bad bacteria strain left. And depending on what doctor you talk about, you should have a little balance. Another will say, so of our 5 longevity doctors, another will say, well, if it was me, I'd get rid of that one bad bacteria. And to get that, you have to have this very specific antibiotic. It's made a big difference in my health, having mainly the probiotics, the good bacteria in my gut. You can also get a micronutrient analysis. So in a blood analysis, for example, you can see how much vitamin D is circulating in your blood. A micronutrient analysis tells you how much is actually getting into your cell. And then after age 50, consider the CTA, that is with contrast, MRI of your heart, whole heart system with contrast, whole body MRI maybe once. And so to give an example, 3 years ago, Dr. Boone, our chief medical officer, has a clinic in Denver. And I mean, frankly, he's the cardiologist of the rich. So his clients are the Denver Broncos and the Colorado Rockies and movie stars and those types. And so I went out and got his whole day's worth of analysis 3 years ago. And I had a CTA of my heart, and a great big picture across the big screen showed that 3 of my arteries were 50% blocked. So they put me on a statin, came back the next year. One of the arteries was down from 50 to 20, one from 50 to 30, one was still at 50. In both cases, the first case, a lot of sticky protein rolling around. You could see it. And that's the most dangerous of the cholesterol. And then the next time, the sticky cholesterol was, did I say protein? I meant cholesterol. The sticky cholesterol was much reduced. And then he put me on a higher statin, came back the next year, and every artery now was, let's see, 2 of the 3 arteries are down to 10 or 20%. The third one was still at 50% and almost no sticky protein. Then he put me on Repatha, which is a senior varsity cholesterol drug. And I went back this last year, November, and all 3 of those arteries down to 10%, no sticky protein. So that's the benefit of really being able to see what's going on in your heart. You need that MRI with contrast. And then, of course, we're all familiar with getting a colonoscopy after age 50. That second test for every 5 years is that same type of analysis for your brain. Is your brain power what it should be for your age? Is your brain speed what it should be? That's what it's analyzing. So those are the kind of the gold standard for tests.
We hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to watch the entire series, including the most important 9th step. If you would like to download a simplified checklist of Step 4, click the link in the description. And to stay abreast of emerging protocols to extend life, consider becoming a premium member at www.asherlongevity.com.